Excel accounting practice problem. Format worksheet for new month. Get ready, because no one can stop us from excelling. We bought the program. I can excel anytime I want to. Here we are in our Excel worksheet. In prior presentations, we put together the Excel worksheet from a blank sheet, now entering transactions into it. If you have access to it, 2 tabs on down below, the example tab and the practice tab. Practice tab starting out where we left off last presentation. Example tab in essence being an answer key. So last time we ended off completing our transactions for month 1. Now we're going to be cleaning up the worksheet to move on to month 2. We're going to be putting our ending balances for the GL accounts to the beginning balances, so we have a nice fresh place to be working with. We're going to clean out our journal entries. We're going to make an adjustment to our sub accounts as well and our sub ledgers. Let's go back to the example tab and take a look at the end result. So we're going to clean this side out so we have our data input that we can input on the left-hand side. We're going to get a little bit more tricky with the trial balance, having the February data and the year-to-date, which will differ because we are in essence going to close out the temporary accounts for the February data. So we're going to level up a little bit more difficulty with our worksheet, but after completing month 1, I think we'll be okay with it. And then we'll clean up our general ledger accounts, taking the ending balance to be our beginning balance, which would be similar to us running a report, transaction detail report, starting on the beginning of the second month, for example. So let's go back on over to the practice tab and see what we can do. So we're going to go on over. First of all, I would like to clean up our numbers to remove any kind of decimals so that we can get back to basically being in balance without any rounding differences. So we're going to make a dollar adjustment if we need to. So here we got, then I'm going to change this to just an even number. Anywhere I don't have an even number, I'm just going to make this an even number. This will just be 0. This one is even, so I'm just looking for anything that's not even here, and we're going to clean it up. So this one has a decimal, so I'm going to make this 92029 to clean it up. This one has a decimal, so I'm going to make this one, let's make it 44 to clean it up. And so then scrolling down, this one has a decimal in it. So I'm going to take this one and call it 44 to clean it up. And there we go. Now we're out of balance by $1. So I'm going to put that dollar into sales. So I'm going to change the sales by $1 so that we're in balance exactly +1 on the sales number. So there we're going to even that out and adjust for rounding of the dollar. Then I'm going to add another column so we can have a trial balance for the February and a year-to-date trial balance. I'm going to do that by putting my cursor on the column, right-click, and insert. And then this is going to be the beginning. We're going to call it trial balance. I'm going to call this TB for the trial balance. And this is going to be for Feb versus, I'm going to say year-to-date. Feb versus the year-to-date. And then I'm just going to copy these numbers over. So I'm going to take these numbers and just copy them over because they're hard-coded numbers. Copy them right there. That'll paste the formatting as well. And then in the Feb section, I'm going to say this is Feb. I like saying it like that better. We're going to basically close out our ending balance numbers. So basically, we're going to say that we're all the stuff that's in the income statement, this and this, is going to roll into equity and be 85323. So I'm just going to change this number to -85323 and then delete all the income statement stuff. And that should keep us in balance. We're still in balance now. That's basically the closing process. That basically takes place in accounting software when you change the dates from like one year to the next year. It'll basically, a trial balance will basically kind of roll over automatically in software, although it can be a little bit glitchy if you don't do it from year to year. Month to month is a little bit more tricky, but it'll kind of do that for you. You can see, and then we can copy across our numbers again. I'm going to start these off with zeros in them. So we'll start them off with zeros. There we go. And then I'd like the ending numbers have to have 2 sides to it as well. So I'm going to put my cursor on column AN, right click and insert there too. And we're going to call this an ending. We're going to say TB for Feb and then the year to date. So then I'm going to copy over the formatting. Picking the formatting over here, just going to copy the formatting only this time. Home tab, clipboard, format copying, Put that right there. And then we want to do our formulas. So our formula is just going to be, this is going to be equal to February starting number plus the entries. I don't need 2 entry columns, so just the 1 entry column. Going to copy that down, Control C. Going to paste that on down. Paste it down, but paste it without messing up the colors. Don't mess up the colors though. We're going to paste it formulas only so that we don't mess up the colors. And paste the formulas. And then this one needs to be equal to the year to date plus the entries. And then we will copy that and paste it on down. Paste it formulas only. So once again, the colors remain the same. So they looks really super nice. And then we're going to take these two again and copy them across. So that we're in balance all the way across. That looks good. Looks good. You can see here we have the same numbers for total equity, 150,323 and the 150,323 there as well. Let's clean up the GL now. Let's clean up the GL. What we're going to do is put the ending balances up top here, but those ending balances we can get from our trial balance. So the first thing I want to do is just clean it all out so it doesn't confuse me, and then we'll go back in and just put in the beginning balances from the trial balance. So I'm just going to make everything 0. I don't want to delete the running balance. I just want to delete these 2 cells, these 2 rows or whatever, so that the running balance remains. So we don't have to re-input that. And then we'll just go through and repeat this process all the way through. I'm just going to delete the activity. It's starting at 0. Delete the activity, and then put a 0 at the starting point on this one. Delete the activity. Delete the activity. I think there's something down here too. The inventory's hidden down here. Delete the activity. Put the 0 in the starting point. And delete the activity. 0 to the starting point. 0 to the starting point. 0 to the starting point. Delete the activity. Scrolling right. Scrolling right. Scrolling right. 0 at the starting point. 0 at the starting point. Delete the activity. Roger that. Roger form 1040. Form 1040. Roger out. Copy form 1040. Delete the activity. 0 up top. Delete the activity. 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 Almost there. We're almost there. Super close. Not just close, but super close. We're close and we're as fast as Superman, so we're like close and fast. So we get there really quickly. So then we're going to go all the way to the left again. So that looks good. And we should then be able now to enter our beginning balances. I'm going to hide some cells here to make it as easy as possible. Now I'd like to see the column that has the activity in it. So, and I could just do it to the ending balance here because we're going to hard code the numbers. So I'm going to hide from AK to AN, AK to AN, right click and hide those cells. And I need to hard code the beginning balance numbers. I can't use a formula because we're going to be changing both the beginning and ending numbers in our trial balance. So I'm just going to try to tie it out and hard code them out. And if I get it right, it should tie out with our check number up top. So we're going to say this is going to be 88811. And then we have the undeposited funds, looks good. We're looking at the accounts receivable, which is the 14687. Inventory 9698. 9698. It's not the time to get dyslexic here. That'll mess things up. That'll mess things up. We're going to then hide some cells from the skinny on over to AB. The skinny to AB. Right click and hide those cells. We're on insurance now. Prepaid insurance, 12,000. We're on the investment. That's going to be 12,000. We've got the furniture and equipment, 98,000. We've got the accumulated depreciation, -7.5. We've got the accounts payable at 0. Let's do some hiding of some cells from BM on over to the skinny. BM to the skinny, right click and hide that stuff. Now we're on the Visa, which is going to be -1,000. We're on the loan payable, which is going to be -72,000. We're on the payroll liability, which is going to be -2029. Sales tax payable, which is going to be -2344. Equity is going to be 77896. Owner's investment, which is going to be negative 65000. Sales, let's do some hiding first. Let's go from BY, buy Y to the skinny. BY to the skinny, buy, because we're hiding you for now. We'll see you later. And so this is going to be the 46876. So we're at negative 46876. And then we've got the services, which is going to be negative 6980. And then we've got the cost of goods sold, 37242. We got 37242. We got the office supplies, which is going to be the 700. We've got the payroll expenses, 6983. So we have 6983. Payroll taxes at the 474. Let's do some hiding from CK to the skinny. CK to the skinny. Right click and hide. Now we're looking at the telephone, which is going to be 410, 410, 410. And then finally the utilities at the 620. Okay, so if we did this correctly, we should tie out with that green 0 up top on the GL. This is the moment of truth to see if we do indeed by going from AO to CM, right-clicking on those cells and unhide. And we're not in balance. We are not in balance. What? Okay, I hear you. It was the cost of goods sold. I messed up the cost of goods sold. You were trying to tell me when I put that in place and I wasn't listening. I apologize. I think it's going to be this cost of goods sold right here. Let's try that. 37242 is what it should be. Let's see if that puts us back in the balance. Back in balance again. There we go. So now we're back in balance. Okay. So then I'm going to go back to the home tab. Let's remove these lines. And now we got to do the same thing for our sub ledgers. Let's go to the sub ledgers for the accounts receivable and accounts payable. And I'm going to move these up. So this one ends at 1, which should be 0. So I'm just going to make it 0. We got a rounding error again, or rounding difference. It's not an error. It's not an error. It's just a rounding difference. So we'll fix that later. This one should be 930, 930. And so I'm going to remove the detail. This one ended at the 8159. And so I'm going to remove the detail here too. Get rid of the detail. And then we're going to say Jones Guitars ended at the 5599 that they owe us, 5599. Delete the detail. And then this one ended at 0, so we'll just delete the detail. There we have it. We're off by 1 now. I'm just going to change one of them for the practice problem purposes so that we don't have this rounding error to what's on the trial balance. I'm just going to make this one 929. And if Smith gets a $1 discount, that's okay. That 14687 now matches the trial balance given by the green 0, but let's double check it. The 14687, does that match what's on the trusty T to the B trial balance? It does. Now let's go to the accounts receivable, which should be 0. So let's go to the AR subledger and clean that one up. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. It's pretty clean already. I'm not sure we need to do anything, but we'll clean it up further. We just need to make this one 0 and delete the activity. Nothing's in the accounts payable. Ties out to the subledger given the 0. Let's do the inventory. Inventory looks complicated, but it's not too bad because all we need to do really is change this ending amount to the top one. So that 5 down there, I'm going to change that to the 5 in the beginning balance up top, and then just remove the detail, all the stuff. And then I'm just going to say this equals the one above it, and copy it down. Copy it down. That's all it takes. Let's do it again. We ended off with 5 units at the 440. I'm going to start off with the 5 units then. Delete the detail, delete the stuff that happened, all the stuff that happened. And this equals the one above it. Copy that one down, double click it down. And then this one ended with 5 units at the 304. So we'll start it at the 5 units at the 304. Delete all the stuff. And then this equals the one above it. And we will copy that down, copy it down. This one ended with a -1, which is kind of weird. But let's put that up top, -1. And this is 598, multiplying this out. There we have it. And then we'll delete this stuff. delete the stuff that happened, and this will equal the one above it. And we'll copy that down. Copy it down. Almost there. Scrolling down. This one doesn't have anything in it. That's easy. This one ended at 4 units. So we're now going to set 4. Delete the stuff. Equals the one above it. Copy it down. Then we're going to do that over here too. This one ended with 5 units left. So we'll start it at 5 units. We'll delete the stuff that happened. And then we'll say this equals the one above it. Copy that down. And I think this might be the last one. So it ended at 6 units. We're going to start it at 6 units then. Delete the stuff that happened. And then copy that or equal the one above it. Copy that down. Okay, so if we did that correctly, we should have the subledger tying out here. So this is picking up all of our inventory ending numbers. It's has a green 0 next to it, indicating it does indeed work. Let's check it out though, the 9698, scrolling all the way to the right. Say, do we have the 9698 over here on the inventory? We do. That looks good. Let's unhide the cells that we hid here. So I'm going to put my cursor from AJ to AO, right click and unhide that stuff. Unhide. And then we're going to delete, we're just going to clean out our entries. We don't need these entries anymore. I don't think they're gonna mess us up if I delete them, I hope. So I'm gonna put my cursor on the skinny all the way to the right and just delete all the stuff that happened last month because they're in our prior worksheet. I'm just gonna delete all the stuff. And then I'm gonna format paint our fresh worksheet here, home tab, clipboard, paintbrush, and just paint it down like the wall, just like painting a wall, a nice cool blue. That's where we'll start off with, and then delete, and that's what we have. So now we're ready to go. So same as the first month, except that we're starting off with beginning balances in place. We cleaned out the GL, but now we've got beginning balances in place there as we start the next month, and we complicated the trial balance a bit to give us the look and the year-to-date data for the temporary accounts as well as the month by month. So hopefully that won't cause us any problems, but we leveled up the complexity a little bit so that we can add that level of complexity on the second month. Given the fact that it's the second month of operations, hopefully that won't throw us off too bad.